So hopefully that works. That looks much better than it did before. Hello, I am Hans Kelson. I write interesting software that's marginally serious. If you saw my lightning talk 2 years ago, it's a cool thing that I built. I write websites that are much more serious than that for work. This is where I work. I also write other things. I write magical digital creatures that will save you time and make you more efficient. Sort of, if you use them right. So at work, we had a problem. Our staff meetings were slow. They took forever. We had this wonderful Google Doc where everybody put your subjects to discuss in, and we go down the list in order. That meant somebody always went first and somebody always went last. And the person who went last, their item never really got discussed because we were all ready to get out of there. Alphabetical order by name, it just didn't work. We all had the whole document in front of us, so we're switching back and forth and discussing everything. Crosstalk abounded. We were not focused until the agenda hat. What is this? This is a program which you put in all of your agenda items into the database. This is a Django app, of course. Put in all your agenda items in the database, and then when it comes time to do your meeting, you go down the list in a random order, and it pulls them out of a hat for you. Why? Why not? I mean, sure, you could write it down on paper and literally pull them out of a hat, or you could just be more disciplined and focused in your meetings. But who wants to do that? This is way more fun. Well, it's pretty obvious, right? It's a stupid Django app. Barely does anything. Runs SQLite because if you're running something like this in a big enough installation that you need Postgres, you're doing it wrong. But, every bit of this is vanilla CSS, animations, HTMX, HyperScript, and Django. I wrote it in about 3 days. Check it out on GitHub if you want to know more. There's a Docker image. Works. I'm going to cut a new release today because I just fixed some stuff to make it work for this talk. So cool stuff if you want to check it out. Now, why am I up here giving a lightning talk? This is hopefully to inspire anyone who thinks, well, I only want to work on projects that are serious. No. Do silly things, because sometimes even silly things are useful. This has literally saved my workplace hours and hours and hours in real life and meetings and made everybody less frustrated. And we all still laugh at it 2 years after I first put it into production. So there you go. Lighten things up a bit. Build cool stuff even if it's silly. Thank you.
All right, hi. I'm Chris Watkins. I'm almost 6 feet up. This is my first DjangoCon. It's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Now I gotta get my mouse back. All right, went through that already. Okay, so years ago, I had 72 hours to save a contract, not at my current employer, at a prior employer. And the problem was that we were shipping a broken release, literally every release. We had 0 functional or integration testing. We had over 95% unit test coverage. Everyone thought everything was rosy. Everyone thought everything was rosy, and it was just blowing up. It was a major problem for me in my personal life. Right? It was eating up a lot of my time. Let's see. I kept asking for time to fix the problem. Right? The tests suck. Our releases are broken. Everyone's working all the time. We're getting a high turnover. The teams are frustrated. But I never got that time. And I spent a lot of time thinking about why I could never get that time. These are things I heard all the time. It can wait until it's an issue. It doesn't sound like a high priority for the team. We'll get to it next sprint. You aren't going to need it. You are going to need it, by the way. The key for me was eventually I realized that the problem wasn't actually the tests. The problem wasn't actually the lack of monitoring. The problem was that we weren't framing the need in a way that the business understood, right? Don't say, we have missing tests. Don't ask for time to fix technical debt. Ask for time to lower teams' iteration speed and spot problems early. Are you missing monitoring? Ask for the ability to detect and respond to issues efficiently. Don't ask for, I need time to build monitoring. Tech debt compounds negatively, right? Robust engineering processes compound positively. You can make that work for you instead of against you. Essentially, you're fighting the delayed gratification bias, right? Before, months to ship, things are broken when they ship. After, you're developing and deploying safely in minutes. And that's the kind of thing that gets the business's attention. That's the kind of thing that gives you your life back. That's the kind of thing that makes your product better and makes your users' experiences better. Not every backlog item you have is going to be critical and add value. And your credibility depends on being able to make that distinction, right? And really, you can think about it, your particular pain point, what's the blast radius, right? Is this pain shared? What capabilities are blocked, right? What business outcomes will be possible if I was unblocked, right? Like going back to functional or integration testing for a lot of projects, that gives you the ability to iterate safely at speed. You can make a change and you have tests that can catch it. Then you don't have to spend time 6 months later catching the breakage when things are on fire and your customers are mad, and right? And that's my lightning talk. Thanks for your time.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Emmanuel, a GIS consultant at UNGSC in Valencia. I'm a geospatial software engineer and the founder of Spatial Node. Today, I'll be making a presentation on FAIR, an AI assistant mapping partner we developed in collaboration with the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team. FAIR is solving a critical problem that happens or that occurs in humanitarian response, and that's manual mapping. So when disaster occurs in a particular area, how we help first responders is to manually digitize buildings, lines, and roads to support their operations. However, that's very slow and it's resource intensive because when you have disaster, you want to respond fast. So we built FAIR to automate this process using AI, computer vision techniques specifically. And how FAIR works is we have a base model, popular base models like YOLO and RAMP, and then we kind of fine-tune this model for local areas. So we don't have like a gigantic model that can extract features for the whole world. We have local specific models for different areas of interest. And that's what makes FAIR very powerful. So FAIR is built on Django, and Django is the framework that's powering everything about FAIR. And why did we use Django? Because why not Django in the first place? Django is very fast. It's helped us to like prototype the features we wanted to build very fast. And most importantly is the geospatial support. Because we are building a geospatial product, we want to do some geospatial and geometry operations. And Django has a very good support for PostGIS, which makes it easier for us to use PostGIS functions, for instance. And it's scalable, like a lot of good stuff about Django already. And then another thing is the API parts, because we wanted to display the extracted features on the web map, and we need a GeoJSON response. So Django REST Framework GIS made this really easier for us to use. And FAIR is already existing, it's live, it's deployed, it's in production, and it's working, and it has all these features we've listed here. And we also plan to add more features in the future because it's really cool. We want to have like an organ phase for geospatial models where we can collaboratively share geospatial models and also integrate MapSwipe. So MapSwipe is like a street view imagery. We want to be able to detect buildings as well from these imageries. And thank you so much for your time. FAIR is very interesting. Unfortunately, I won't be able to talk more in this lightning talk. But if you want to learn more about FAIR, please feel free to reach out to me. And you can check the code base as well. Everything about Fair is on GitHub. It's public, both the front end and the back end. You can scan the QR code to check out the code base. Thank you so much.
My name is Santos. I'm from Ecuador. I'm a core developer on VideoDocs, and today I'm going to tell you about how you can improve your documentation review workflow. VideoDocs is an open source platform that allows you to build and host your documentation for free for open source projects. And when someone opens a pull request on your repository, VideoDocs automatically builds your documentation from the pull request, and you can preview those changes before merging, which is great. But you usually want to check the specific changes in the documentation, the files, and the sections that were modified. Doing that manually is a pain. You need to navigate to each file, or maybe try to guess the final URL of the page. I usually try to save time to the reviewer by putting the links of the files that change in the pull request description, but that isn't perfect because it's still like manual process and takes time, and what time it takes is my time. So to solve this problem, Redux now lists the change files that resulting from building the pull request and allows you to see the diff in line on the rendered HTML, like you can see there. We also added an integration with GitHub, so you can see the list of change files directly in the pull request. That's from our bot. You may be thinking, hey, doesn't GitHub already list the files that change and show you the diff? Yes, but that diff from GitHub is from the source files, not the rendered HTML, which is what your users will see. And also sometimes not really clear what the changes on the rendered HTML are going to look like, because sometimes like what happens if you include docstrings from your code into the rendered HTML. So for me, both diffs are complementing each other, and also knowing the files that were deleted is useful to create redirects, so we avoid broken links in our documentation. You can use all of these features today. Here's a link to the documentation, so you know how to enable this feature on your projects. I was in charge on the implementation of the detection and the GitHub integration. So if you want to know more details about how this works, or you have any feedback, or just want to say hi or talk in Spanish, I'll be around. Thank you.
Okay. In human language, you can say thank you in many ways. In Spanish, you would say gracias. In Portuguese, you would say obrigada. So what about in Python? What is the Pythonic way to express your gratitude? So let me tell you all the different ways you can say thanks to the Python people, and you wouldn't believe what number 5 is. Let's begin. Level 0 is actually say thanks to the person that's been helpful. And I put level 0 here not because it's not important, but you know, we're programmers, right? We start from 0. And I know you're already doing this. I hear it all over during this conference, and I know this is really easy to do, so keep doing it. Level 1. Say thanks in public. Don't keep things to yourself. Share the joy with your friends, your colleague, your network, their boss especially. By saying thanks in public, you're giving visibility of their work, the recognition they deserve, and you'll also be helping to further amplify the impact of their contributions, helping their content reach more audience, helping their tools and library be discovered and used by more people. And maybe you're afraid to embarrass the people who did great work, or maybe you're embarrassed yourself. So do not be embarrassed. Accomplishment is not a shame, it should be celebrated. Level 2. Like and subscribe. I know it's cheesy, but just show you're interested in their work. Show that you want them to continue maintaining the library. You want them to give more talks. You want them to put next year's conference. Like, you don't have to wait until they're done doing all of those great works. You can show your support, show you're interested, and it helps validate them, knowing that you find their work meaningful. So support them by subscribing, or if they have blog or YouTube, or follow them on social media, just show your interest. Level 3. Contribute and volunteer. So don't just use the library, contribute meaningfully, find their GitHub repo, check the contributing guide, learn the workflow, learn their vision of the project, and start contributing. So, and don't just attend conferences and meetup. Offer to help and volunteer. So help lessen their burden and responsibilities by helping them out. Level 4, getting a little bit harder. Don't have time to actually contribute or volunteer. Give them money. Sponsor your favorite open source maintainer on GitHub, Open Collective, Patreon. So many options these days. Buy them coffee, send them PayPal, whatever. And if you couldn't find how to support them, ask them. Tell them, I want to help you. What can I do? Just little tokens of appreciation. If they don't yet have GitHub sponsors, or maybe they didn't know about these things, tell them so that they can sign up and you can start sponsoring them. And if you have favorite Python or Django conference, check their sponsorship prospectus, tell your employer about it, and encourage your employer to sponsor. Now, this is the ultimate way on how you can say thanks to the Python community members who've done really good work. You nominate them for awards, and there are so many of these in the community. Some of these even come with monetary reward. Don't have your own money to give, use other people's money. And people don't just magically receive this. People don't just magically receive awards. In order for them to receive this, someone else needs to be submitting this nomination, need to tell them the work they're doing. You can be the one helping them. And it's just much more stronger if more people are vouching for it and for their work, you know. And don't assume that they already received the award. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I've seen. People thinking, oh, of course, this person is so great. Of course, they already nominated for this. They already received the award. Don't. Check the list of award recipients and nominate. I also encourage you to go outside of North America. We're in North America. Sometimes we get news about North American community, but there are a lot of people doing great work, putting on conferences out there in all over the world, Asia, Europe, Africa. Go check them out and let us in North America know about the great work in the global Python community. So now go thank the Python people, the people in this conference, the organizers, the speakers, the volunteers. If you want to learn more, wanting to learn more how to actually nominate people, I have a blog post and you can scan this QR code. Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm Drew Winstall. I've been on the DEFNA board since 2021. I've been to DjangoCon US since 2017. And today I'm here to ask you if you want to bring DjangoCon US to your city. So under the DEFNA umbrella, we've been to Austin, Philly, Spokane, San Diego again. Let's not talk about 2020. We went all fully online in 21, and back to San Diego in 22, and then we were in Durham in 23 and 24. 25, you're here. Thank you. 2026. I don't really have anything to announce yet. All I will say is stay tuned for the closing remarks for that. So let's look forward to 2027. We don't know where we're going to be. We have no idea. Maybe you want to be there. Let's find out. So the call for venue proposals is live. It went live this morning. It goes until January 15th of next year. You've got plenty of time. This is not an urgent thing. What are we looking for? We want a city, first of all. Where are we going to go? As you've seen right there, DjangoCon US has been to 6 states in the 10 years that the DEFNA has been running it. There's plenty more of the country to go visit. We need venue names, could be 1 or more hotels, conference centers. Doesn't even have to be a proper hotel. Remember 2016 was at the Wharton School, at a university in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. Dates are important because we have contractual obligations with the DSF that we can't conflict with certain religious holidays on the Christian, Muslim, and Jewish calendars. You can let us, if you have questions about that, we're happy to help with that. Contacts of those venues are super helpful as well, so we know we can ask if we have questions that you all may not know offhand. No big deal. Local organizers. What do we mean by local organizers? I'll come back to that in just a moment. But first, let's talk about the city. We want a group of people on the ground that can really help us out with finding places, doing the local research, going to find like a place for a speaker and organizer dinner, or good suggestions for local restaurants and options, things like that. Someone who can go walk into the venue and say, hey, how big is this room and how does the layout actually work in person? Because floor plans only take you so far. And the big thing also in the city is, for those of you who were here in 2022 in San Diego, remember the keynote by Jay and Melanie talking about the diversity of their venues? This is crucial. We need to be in a place where it's not just a bunch of people who look like me. The venue itself, we need to have space for 2 tracks. One room, the large room like we're in right now, should have capacity for about 450 people. The smaller room should be about 200 people. We need a green room, we need a quiet room, a lactation room, and an organizer room. Those are pretty small side rooms. Any convention center should be able to help that, no problem. We need more information on their catering plans and room for sponsor tables. Catering, this is another big one. We all need to eat, right? You need to be able to handle dietary restrictions. At the least, we need gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, halal, kosher, and anything I'm missing on that, Peter? Okay, thank you. Be able to feed the whole conference within about a 90-minute window, also serving breakfast, breaks, lunch, coffee, and drinks. All right, the local organizing crew. These are the people on the ground. Like for Durham, we had Peter and a few other, and Tim Allen, and a bunch of people in Durham proper that helped us out. We've got Kenya here locally in Chicago and her people that have been excellent helping us find stuff in town. You need to find places not just at the venue itself, but nearby, like great restaurant recommendations, especially like Chicago. There's 1,000 places nearby that you can go get to. But like a Durham, a much smaller town, it helps to have that crucial curation of these are good places you want to be if this is you have 3 days in the town. Go find this cool stuff. Find vendors for if we can get the like t-shirts and swag stuff printed locally. That saves us on shipping and also generally provides a better product. So we'd like to do that if we can. And previous organizing experience is helpful but not required. You are not, by submitting a proposal, you're not committing to be the chair. You don't have to chair necessarily, but that would be nice. We're not going to say no. All right, sprint venues. It can be the same as the hotel. Does not have to be, but ideally it needs to be within walking distance. You need capacity for 50 to 75 people, power, really good internet, and a place to eat. Because those get polls use up a lot of bandwidth really quickly. All right, so how do you develop a proposal? Talk to your local convention and visitors bureau. They'll have great ideas for venues that you can use. They'll know better than anyone else. The venues themselves, talk to them. They have event coordinators that are happy to give you this information about what kind of cost they have, how much these things run. And collect that stuff, add in your local flavor, explain why this city would be cool to host. That goes a long way, and then submit it to us. Do that by assembling it and emailing it to hello@defna.org. And here's the QR code for that URL in case anyone wants it real quick. And that is it. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Marcelo. I'm going to talk about backchannel logout. So, this is me. I work at Authentic. I'm a Django Software Foundation member, a PSF fellow, and I am the organizer of Python Paraguay community. That's Paraguay. So, for context, probably you are familiar with this kind of screen. This is an OAuth authorization screen. So, it's meant for an application to access the resources of another system. So, for a little more of context, OAuth, it's more about authorization, and OIDC is more about authentication. It's more about the user itself. So the backchannel logout, it's an OIDC specification, so it extends the OAuth 2 with proper session management. So there is a specification, and but there is so what is the problem that this tries to solve? It's like when you are logging in your company, like single sign-on, but you log out that and you are still logging into Gmail, Grafana, Notion, you name the application, so that's a problem. The session persists across applications, and the traditional logout only affects one application. So even like if the the system administrator, offboard an user, the session could be still active. So the idea is and the user expects that, a complete logout. So the solution is the backchannel logout. That is a server-to-server mechanism. It sends a notification, so you log out from your identity provider, like Authentic, Keycloak, and the identity provider identifies all the applications and starts sending the logout notifications. And in the other side, the apps terminate the sessions. The difference with the front channel logout is that that happens in the browser, and it's usually for one or a few applications. And the backchannel one is from a server-to-server communication, so it's more reliable. So we have the problem, we have a solution, and we have already, again, a problem. So the reality check is that this feature is amazing, but nobody supports it. If I remember, when I was developing this feature, I found Nextcloud and Matrix Synapse chat app, and that's almost all that I can find, that an app that supported. But yeah, even the identity providers, we have this issue. Shout out to Keycloak that they also support that, the backchannel logout, Authentic, and some other more popular identity providers don't support it. They support some other kind that is not standard compliant, but yeah, so that's the situation. So the technical part, basically, it's how it works. It's a logout token. It's a JSON Web Token. It sends through POST to an endpoint, and the app needs to validate that and terminate the sessions. So why does it matter? Because it has security benefits. It prevents session hijacking. It's the compliant requirement, and it improves the user trust in general, because you got logout from every place. So the Authentic, we fully support this with a simple configuration. You just need to add an URL and your configuration. This is an example. It's just one single text field that you need to fill. And yeah, so this is more like a call for actions for developers for this to try to support this amazing feature in your app. So basically, you need to just create an endpoint, validate the JSON Web Token, and clear the sessions. This is a minimal implementation. Don't quote me on this, but it should work. And yeah, we built it. Please come.
So this was originally a pretty long talk. Trying to trim this down a lot. But quick intro, my name's Connor. I work at Authentic as well. I'm going to go over the history of some protocols in the military and some single sign-on protocols and how they made their way into modern computers. So originally in World War II, we basically just had the A3 scrambler for phones. This wasn't really encryption, it was just obfuscation. You just took high signals and inverted them, vice versa. By the 70s, high schoolers could crack this. It was really bad. So regularly being cracked all the time, we needed something better. We started getting vocoders. We made, Alan Turing helped create the Green Hornet at Bell Labs. This was the first actual voice encryption system to ever exist. We used massive turntables to add white noise to the signal, and a turntable on the other side would remove that sound. So moving forward to the actual point of this though, Vietnam War. So at this time, Sig Sally was way too big. We needed something way more simple. So we made the Autobahn phone network, which just connected a bunch of phones throughout the military. And if you had encrypted devices connected over the same infrastructure, we called it the AutoSevocom. The main phone used on the AutoSevocom was the KY3. So it weighed 300 pounds. It was the size of a safe. Arguably as lethal as anything on the battlefield if it fell on you. Pretty rough. And they would try to hide it in rooms, cover it in wallpaper as if you couldn't tell, something's clearly there. But the encryption system was really interesting for the time. They basically had a single key encryption system. So if phone A wanted to call phone B, phone A would encrypt the vocoded message with phone B's key, send it over to phone B unencrypts it, right? Encrypts the phone A's key, sends it back. So it's like terrible, really slow. They can only hold about 30 keys per phone, so you can only call about 30 people at a time. It's really bad. And the NSA is basically like, this is our biggest problem in the military right now, is figuring out how can we encrypt these calls. So a man named Howard Rosenblum makes what is called the Belfield system. If you are an authentication nerd, this may look really familiar to you, but the way that this system works is phone A, instead of calling phone B, calls a central authentication server. This server, after authenticating phone A by its key, makes a session key and then sends it back encrypted with phone A and phone B's key. And now they have a session key to use to communicate with each other. But with this system, there's not a 30 key limit anymore. I mean, any key, sorry, any phone on the network can call any other phone. So arguably, I would say that this is the first single sign-on system ever created, right? It used the STU1, but still, if you think of single sign-on as authenticating in one location and you're authenticated anywhere else on the network, that is exactly what this is. It just uses phones. And I would argue that Jerome Salzer, if you are familiar with him at all, would agree. So at the same time in the 70s, he is working on Project Athena. Out of curiosity, does anyone know Project Athena? Heard of Project Athena? Really? Awesome. You're awesome. So this was literally the largest network pre-internet to ever exist. So to picture the craziness of this, like if you were on pre-Project Athena, you would have to walk up to a mainframe. You'd use a dummy terminal. All your files are on there. There's not really like a client server system like we have now, right? But that's literally what Project Athena is in the 70s. Any student at MIT can sit at a computer and, looking at time, can log in and access like instant messaging. The equivalent of like Google Docs and cloud storage, can like visualize graphs and things like that. Huge. So Project Athena gave us a really important Linux, I forgot what it is, but I'm gonna skip past that because we're running out of time. Anyways, point being, they needed a single sign-on system. At the same time, Jerome Salzer was actually doing consulting for the NSA. He saw the Belfield, was like, it'd be super illegal if I just did this because it's classified. So waited for someone who worked at the NSA to give a talk at a conference, vaguely described the system, gave it to his colleagues, and gave us Kerberos, which was the single sign-on system for Project Athena. So that's how we got single sign-on. Thank you.
All right. It took some time to set it up, but welcome. So today I'll be going to talking about Django Phone Verify. It's one of the project I wrote like 7 years ago. Never mentioned it. It just gained traction because I was facing an issue. And but before that, let me introduce myself. I'm one of you, a part of the community. I'm a FOSS contributor, part of the Django website working group. I've been a long-time FOSS contributor, and I work at Lincoln Loop. I go by Cutest Learner all over the web. So on GitHub, you can search me. And here's the problem. So most packages that wanted to verify phone numbers, they were too coupled with the authentication flow. And they always mess up with your auth user model because everyone assumed that whenever I want to verify phone numbers, it's part of the authentication system. But it's just one chapter in the whole book of things, right? So verification is altogether a different thing. And why I say so is because you could be verifying a customer's profile. You could be verifying a restaurant's profile. There could be an org that you want to verify the phone numbers for. And auth is just one of the chapter in the whole phone verification story. If you can scan this QR code, you'll probably head over to the repo. And so we realized phone verification should be a service, not an auth side effect. It needs to be pluggable, used in any model, workflow, or form. So the core capabilities were to generate, send, and verify, and expire the OTPs. That's it. So it basically follows Unix philosophy of do doing one thing and doing it well. So what's Django Phone Verify? It's a lightweight app. It's model agnostic. It comes with two built-in backends. One is Twilio, and the other one is Nexmo. It also has capability that you can extend it to any provider, be it AWS SNS, MessageBird, whatever, right? But the main idea is once you have Django Phone Verify integrated, you can just switch the backend provider as you like. So the idea is to handle OTP lifecycles and not your auth logic. So here we go. 60 seconds is all you need to have Django Phone Verify installed. You just do pip install Django Phone Verify with whatever backend you need. So you could choose either of the Twilio or Nexmo. If you don't need any backend, just skip it. Just install bare metal Phone Verify, and then you can switch your own backend. You add Phone Verify to your installed apps, and then you can configure settings. So there are just two workflows in the whole system, which is one is send verification, which helps you send the verification, and the other one is validate security code, which is essentially to say if I am having a phone number and a code, as well as session token. Session token is altogether a different story, which is basically to say, is it the same person who requested the OTP, and is it the same person who is now trying to verify for the same OTP? So it works in Django views, forms, APIs. Out of the box, it also has Django REST framework views integrated. So out of the box, you also get 2 endpoints. So you don't need anything. You just need 60 seconds, install it, and you get the API out of the box. If you want, there is also documentation on extending the package. So it's usable anywhere, not tied to authentication. It's secure. There are expiry. There's attempt limits. There's also one-time usage. It also supports I18N. And let me just show you. Yeah, so these are like the 2 flows that you get out of the box. You could also go with the Django views and forms and integrate it. There's documentation for all of it. So yeah, it can be used for multiple flows like sign up, 2-factor authentication, marketing opt-ins, and everything like that. I hope this helps. If you want to discuss anything about open source, Lincoln Loop, or otherwise, I'll be around. Happy to chat. Thank you.